Inbound as Max tries to take the inbounds pass. They try to get it over to Cook, and Max is going to be called for traveling. And just that quick, the Railers with an opportunity to get closer, and they turn it over once again.
Yeah, good play out of the timeout, or out of the half, or quarter, sorry. And backdoor layup, and Max saw some guys coming at him, but he's got to go up with that one.
So the Railers outscore Southeast 15-9 in the third to draw within 4. It's as close as they've been since they were down 11-7. Senor thought about the three, didn't take it.
Yeah, Railers doing a much better job on defense right now, moving, getting out on the shooters, and covering the inside.
Gardner in the corner. Inside to Davis. Flips it out to Gardner's three. That's out, no good. Had the rebound. Christian went down. Southeast comes down with it again. Gardner will try another three. This one he hits.
Yep, he thought the first one was good, but it didn't go in, and he said, give it back to me. I feel good from this spot, and he knocked it down.
40-33. Railers in a situation where they need to not let Southeast stretch it out again. Podbelsic on top between the circles to Van Hook. Max on the left side driving against Gardner. Christian will pull up from 18. Little too hard. Rebound to Southeast. Ahead quickly, Senor all by himself. Christian goes up. Doesn't get the block. Senor lays it in. A quick 5 for Southeast in the first minute and a half. They're back up by 9. Gavin's picked up his dribble in the backcourt. Max has it. Over to Podbelsic. Will's going to drive in. Down to Christian on the baseline. Railers looks a little out of sorts right now, and a blocking foul is going to be called on Southeast. That one's going to go against Gardner. That will be his third.
Yeah, not a good start to the quarter for the Railers. Had it that 6 point we talked about, and we can't get over that 6 point Schneid.
42-33. As they mop up, Josh, real quick, we want to talk about a former Railer, Nathaniel Smith, who's doing very well at Loris. Past 2 games, he's been able to get the start. He, as a freshman, has the best assist-to-turnover ratio, and we know what he was like here at Lincoln, and it sounds like he's carrying it on over at Loris College,
sure.
Doing a nice job.
Great ball handler, and always found the open man.
Podbelsic kicks it back out to Block. Austin fakes the three, lobs it back over to Cook. Block. And Gavin is called for steps again, and he looked like he moved his right foot, but that time he sure didn't look like he moved that left foot. And not certainly not picking on Gavin, but I think that's the 4th or 5th time that Gavin's been whistled for the travel. There must be something the officials are seeing in the way that he's handling the ball that they're calling the travel on.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I was looking at Gavin, and it looked like he's keeping his pivot foot down and using a jab step to try and create some space or create somewhat of a fake. And I didn't see where he drug his foot at all. But I am a Railer fan, so I might be a little biased.
Well, I hope you're a lot biased. Davis inside, knocked out of bounds by a Christian, so it'll stay with the Spartans. The official talking with Strong and Block. Southeast gets it in. 6 minutes to go. Gardner, another three. It rolls off, no good. Gavin with a nice, strong rebound for Lincoln.
Yeah, and a nice box out by Max Cook. He got Chris Davis on his backside and did a good job of basically putting him out of bounds, and that's what you got to do against a good rebounder.
Gavin hands off to Max. Open, Gavin. Come on, Gavin doesn't take the three. Tries to drive in. Kicks it back out to Olsen. Spacing an issue for the Railers. Gavin. Instead, nice pass underneath the no-look pass to Gavin, who lays it up and in. Good look from Cook.
Yep, we're getting baskets, but we got to find a way to stop them. If we're going to crawl back into this 7-point lead right now, the Railers got to get some stops.
42-35. Dump down. Davis in the lane, little 5-footer, good. Timeout taken by Southeast. Davis now has 15. It is just a 30-second timeout, so we will keep it here. 5:25 to go in the contest. We were in that 6 to 8 to 10. We got it as close as 4 at 37-33, and since that point, it's a 7-2 run from Southeast. It's been threes and inside.
Yeah, it's been everything. And the thing about this Southeast team is they've got weapons from everywhere. They can pass the ball. They got shooters from the outside. They've got a big kid in the middle that can score anywhere around the hoop, and he's so aggressive. And it's tough for the Railers to cover this type of team when you can put three shooters on the outside.
So after the timeout, Railers look to inbound. And Block stepped on the baseline before inbounding it. So another turnover by the Railers. And Josh, I got to believe they're getting close to that 15-16 mark of turnovers for the contest at least.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's 12 at half, and we're closer to 20 right now. And the thing is, it's been that 6, 7, 9-point game the whole time, and the Railers, you take away a few of those turnovers, and you maybe come and get baskets instead.
Anderson gets through the double team, slips it out to Senor. He's going to drive in the lane. Little floater up and good. Senor now with 11, and that is the lead for the Spartans at 46-33, 5 minutes to go. Cook in the lane, bounce to Christian, takes it out of the lane, back to Olsen. Jake on the bounce to Block. Hands over to Cook. Max will back the dribble near the scorer's bench. Christian in the right corner. Lobs it back on Ty. Almost stolen away. Is stolen away by Gardner. Gardner will go in for the easy 2. And then Gavin is whistled again for stepping on the baseline. So another turnover. And you know what's weird, Josh, is Southeast there's a little gap of color between the lane color and the out-of-bounds color, and I wonder if that's causing confusion.
It can throw you off. Is the out-of-bounds on that line or in the blue part?
But no matter. Southeast now with a 13-point advantage, 4:20 to go in our contest. Senor on the right side, and I think now Southeast has gotten to the point where they're going to run a little clock.
Yeah, and they've got the ball handlers to do it. They've got the experience from the ball handlers. These guys have started for 2 or 3 years now, one maybe since a freshman in Gardner.
Gardner does have the ball near the timeline, works it over on the right wing, inside to Davis, turns from 8, up and good. That's been there all night for Southeast. 50-35 now, a 15-point advantage for the Spartans, their largest lead of the night. Jake almost drags that pivot foot over to Cook. 3:40 to go. Christian. Podbelsic to Block. Railers are needing points and need them in a hurry. Max trying to clear some space. Now the double team comes to Max. Flips it over to Olsen. Cutting Gavin Block down the lane. Gavin trying to free himself. Ball tipped out of bounds. Good quick hands by the Spartans. 3:22 on the clock here at Scheffler Gymnasium in Springfield.
Yeah, the Railers having a tough time scoring right now. Southeast has picked up the intensity. They kind of smell blood right now, and the Railers got to do a good job here with 3:15 left in the game.
Olsen spots for 3. That's no good. Goes over the top of the backboard, out of bounds. It'll go back to Southeast, and so it's one of those things where anything that could go wrong here for the Railers is starting to go that way. Yeah,
they've turned it up, and we haven't quite matched the intensity of Southeast, and the Railers just having a struggle to find a way to score.
Silly play there by Southeast as Gardner tried a 3/4 court pass to try to get it to Anderson and lost it out of bounds right in front of the bench. You know, if you're up 15, 3 minutes to go, certainly not the wisest way to try and get it in bounds.
No, but the Railers got to be aggressive here and go to the basket there. We go to the basket but couldn't get it in.
That time Podbelsic bounces it to Christian, who lays it up and in. 50-37, Railers still down double figures, down 13 in the lane, and Jake's going to get whistled for the foul as Davis again. If you picture a basketball court that's got a volleyball court on it, right as the back line of the volleyball court, and that's where Davis has made a living tonight.
Ben Harbor in there, and the problem with the Railers is that several of their guards are so small that he poses a huge problem in there, and then when they have 3 shooters on the outside, you really got to concentrate on them. It's a tough matchup for anybody.
So after the 4th foul on Olsen, 2:34 to go. Gardner to Senor. Railers with 4 team fouls, Southeast with 5.
Yeah, you don't expect Southeast to do a lot of shooting, at least from the 3-point line. Now they're gonna work the ball, try and get a layup, or try and get it into Davis.
Yeah, it was a good old-fashioned game, a keep away by Southeast here. They dump it to Strong underneath. A foul is going to be whistled on either Block or Van Hook, and that will send the Spartans to the line shooting 2. Foul will be on Christian.
Yeah, Christian's 3rd. really done a good job after he picked up one early in the first quarter. He's done a good job of staying out of foul trouble and not but yet he's been aggressive on underneath, trying to block shots and rebounding. So Christian learned from several experiences we've had this year where he's got into foul trouble on some cheap fouls, and we've missed him for a half.
51-37. Both go down. Strong now with 5, 52-37. Back to a 15-point advantage. I wish it was a 5-point advantage. Olsen working hard against Gardner, knocked out of bounds by the Southeast senior. Well, 2 years ago, Southeast swept the Railers. Last year, the Railers got both games against the Spartans. Southeast wins the first game in Lincoln, and unless something changes here in the last 2 minutes, it looks like Southeast is going to get a conference sweep of the Railers in 2011-2012.
Kind of been that way for a couple of years now. One team gets 2, the other team gets 2, and back and forth battles.
Hyde Bell 6-3, a little long. Rebound comes down to Strong for the Spartans. Senor to Davis. I think that's the first time he's been out of the lane all night.
He's going right there now.
In the lane, kicks it down to Strong, and they kick it out, and they're going to run some clock. Gardner over to Anderson on the baseline to Strong. Davis to Gardner. Minute 10 to go. Railers down 52-37. Driving through, Senor, he's going to go to the basket with the reverse, up and good. Senor now with 13. It's the biggest lead of the night for Southeast at 54-37, under a minute left.
Yeah, it's really been just the turnovers, and it really couldn't get back after we've made several runs. You talked about it, Jeff, that 6-point lead was the kind of the devil all night for the Railers. Couldn't get back from that.
Block fires off a non-set 3, just kind of flipped it up toward the basket, missed off the right side, and Southeast gets the rebound, and more than likely they're going to run the clock down this final 30 seconds. Railers will drop below 500 in the conference and in the season. As we said, the Railers had cut it to 37-33 at the end of the third quarter, and it's going to be a 17-4 advantage for the Spartans here in the fourth that gets them the win. And then a silly foul on Max Cook as Gardner trying to bait Cook into it. Max just with a little push off, and Gardner looked like he'd been hit by Floyd Mayweather. They need to start the clock. They finally do. And that'll be the way this one ends. Our final score, Southeast with the victory here tonight, 54-37. Railers fall to 11-12, 5-6 on the conference season. Southeast improves to 11-6. They're now 7-4 in the Central State 8, so they start climbing their way near the top of the conference. Again, our final score, it is Southeast with the victory, 54-37. We will be back with our post-game show. We'll be back to get things started here from Scheffler Gymnasium in 2 minutes. You're listening to Lincoln Railer Basketball.